Korea saying it simulated a nuclear strike on targets in South Korea Tuesday, meant to be a warning to the U.S. against deploying strategic bombers to the peninsula. The missile test came hours after American bombers flew through the area during military drills with South Korea. Meanwhile, the White House says new intelligence shows North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un is in discussions with Russia's president over an arms deal that could help Russian fighters in Ukraine. Concerning? Quite possibly, yes. Mark Esper, who served as U.S. Secretary of Defense during the Trump administration, with us now. Good morning to you, Secretary Esper. You know, whenever we bring up Kim Jong-un, I feel like it requires a lot of context, and yet there's some things we know to be true. He reportedly warned North Koreans that the U.S. has made the waters around their nation unstable and that it would lead to nuclear war. That's the messaging to his people, but how hardy of a threat is that to America?
Yeah, this is not unusual talk, rhetoric coming out of Pyongyang by Kim Jong-un or any of his people. This is what they do, particularly in light of an annual exercise that is occurring right now with South Korean and U.S. forces. It actually ends today, I think. It's been ongoing for a week or so. But this is the rhetoric he uses to motivate his army, to convince his people to sacrifice for the hardship he puts them through. And this continues all the time. So this is just more of his rhetoric.
So as you're saying this, you know, I'm thinking about like the fact that North Korea says it's simulating nuclear strikes. Of course, they're simulating nuclear strikes. They have to back up that smack talk. But like you said, this is typical narrative. He's flexing his muscles. The question is, does the U.S. need to change their game plan, our game plan with South Korea to calm tensions with the North, or would that make us look weak?
Well, you know, the good news is we actually have changed our game plan. A new South Korean president came in the last year and a half or so. President Yoon, he's taken a much hardline approach toward North Korea. He's reached out to his Japanese counterpart. Of course, it culminated in an important meeting at Camp David 2 weeks ago with President Biden. So Japan, the United States, and South Korea are also taking a harder line with regard to North Korea and also China, by the way, which I think is more important. And of course, there's been more done to restore annual exercises in the South between the United States and South Korea. And of course, what we call extended deterrence. That's making sure that the North understands that the United States nuclear umbrella also protects South Korea. So a lot of good things have happened in this space. More should always be done. But we also need to see if there's any way we can get them back to the negotiation table with regard to denuclearizing the North.
I just feel like a lot of times these are things that we hear about over and over again, and yet nothing seems to be done, at least nothing the American people are really privy to. Though the White House did release new intelligence showing Russia and North Korea are likely negotiating an arms deal. Are we late to the party? I mean, is this old news that is just being confirmed? Their relationship isn't new.
Well, the relationship is certainly not new. It's been going on for decades. But what is new is this agreement, if you will. Now, rewind the clock a little bit. Months ago, we knew that North Korea was reportedly providing missiles and rockets to the Wagner Group to enable their mission in Ukraine. But this seems to be a new level of the relationship. About a month ago, the defense minister from Russia, the first time, I think, since the early 1990s, traveled to North Korea, met with Kim Jong-un. And now what we're seeing in the weeks after that is a new arms agreement where North Korea would provide missiles and rockets and, importantly, 155 millimeter artillery ammunition in exchange for Russian food, Russian technology, Russian energy. And this shows a number of things, right? Most importantly, it shows that Russia is desperate to get arms and ammunition to its forces on the ground in Ukraine. And it's a good sign on one hand, but a bad sign that they're finding a lifeline from the likes of North Korea and Iran, by the way.
Yeah, likely they're few select allies, I'll say that. There are a few more we could name. But Mark Esper, we always appreciate having you here. Thank you, Secretary, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.